Hi, YouTube. I think a lot of burnout doesn't come from doing too much. I think it comes from trying to improve everything all together, all at once. So today I'm sharing what I'm actually prioritizing right now and what I am leaving behind. The context of this video, why I wanted to make it, was just because I've been pretty sick lately. I actually was in the hospital on Monday. I'm okay now though, but that was pretty rough week. So my routines that I've been trying to establish have kind of been melting to the wayside, and that's not good. So this is the year of consistency for me. So I'm trying to, keep consistent on my YouTube and also try to build up my public speaking, trying to be more comfortable speaking in front of a camera and everything too. And just so you guys know, these are my actual priorities. I hope they're going to be helpful and relatable to someone out there, but these are not aspirational or fantasy self priorities. This is what I'm actually doing to survive the day to day. So the first thing I'm prioritizing is definitely physical health. Just because I have been so sick, I want to do things, not just weight loss, but I want to focus on my health and getting in remission and, fix up my diet to be more plant-based with more fiber. I think that will really help. I have an autoimmune disease, so I'm always looking for ways to reduce inflammation. And I also am having the goal of less pain and less fatigue overall. However, I can figure out how to do that. Then this goes along with kind of mental health, which is also something I've been focusing on. Uh, some mental health things I've been focusing on are like easy. They're like getting enough sunlight in the day. As you can see, it's very sunny right now where I live. It's very bright, so that's not a problem. I want to journal consistently for gratitude and for reflection. I think that's going to be really helpful for mental health, as I've talked about in some of my other previous videos. But if you haven't seen those, basically, I use my journal as like a catch-all, but also guided journal prompts I think are very helpful for mental health. They are for me. So that's what I'm doing. I'm also trying to fix my brain rot and attention span with offline hobbies like fixing up the house and just, exercise, yoga, cooking, doing all the things and that are offline so that my attention span can kind of take a break from all the constant dopamine drowning of online algorithms and feeds. Another big thing right now that I'm focusing on is just my routines and structure building, gently building these things up. I want to keep consistent every day, working on breaking down my big goals into their little actionable steps and habits that I can build upon so everything's cumulatively leading up to a goal. But you're going to see later in this video what I'm not trying to do with this is perfection and just like I guess procrastination perfection, where you're just stuck in analysis paralysis. You can't do anything because you're just like stressed about the things that could happen if you do this path versus the other path, and it's all just a mess. So that's what I'm not trying to do. But gentle routines and structure is another big thing for me right now. And that kind of ties into the next bucket, I guess, of goals that I'm trying to accomplish this season, which is my home environment related goals. So that's home and environment, and that's just regulating my nervous system in my home or with my environment by having a clean, calm, decluttered space, which is the opposite of what I have right now because I moved like a little bit ago and it's been pretty rough. They only collect recycling like twice a month where I live. So trying to break down boxes and get rid of them and move things when we don't have any furniture to put stuff away in is kind of tough, but we're working on it. And then I also want to make the house good for everybody in our family. Like I want it to be enriching for both me and my partner and our dogs, and be, cultivating that sense of coziness and hominess that helps us build that internal sense of safety, but also having like a good sense of stimulation, if you know what I mean, like a baseline of stimulation in the house. So this will help with burnout because basically to me, when I think of burnout, I think of it's it feels like you're kind of trapped in the day to day, right? Like you're doing all these things, you're kind of on autopilot, but it still feels there's a lot of friction in between the things that you're doing and the things that you want to accomplish. So because I'm focusing on prioritizing just a few different buckets of tasks and goals, it gives me fewer choices and decisions to make, which helps a lot because it reduces friction in between one task to another task or one step to another step, which is something that people with ADHD or people who are not neurotypical can really struggle with. And also, when you have control over your home environment, like I'm trying to make it, smell the way I want, look the way I want, whatever, that can build an internal sense of safety in our nervous system, which is really sounds really weird, but it's true. Like things like symmetry or bringing in nature into your environment could really help regulate your nervous system and just build in that sense of safety and security that sometimes we don't even know we're missing, and that's contributing to our overall levels of anxiety and pushing that burnout. And then by breaking everything into smaller goals and easy things that are, repeatable daily or semi frequently during the week, I give myself more rewards and I have less guilt. It's like a little dopamine hit every time I can check off a box on my daily to do or my habit tracker. And I think that really helps defeat burnout in a way because, you're giving yourself that dopamine boost every single time you do something small. And that to your brain, it's like more follow through. You're completing more things, so it's not just building dopamine, it's building, your other brain chemicals, serotonin, because you're giving yourself a long drawn out process of enjoyment. And this all brings me back to why this will help with burnout. And it's going back to what I said a little bit earlier, which is that I'm a person who gets really stuck in analysis paralysis and just trying to fight perfection. So the fewer choices and decisions I have, the easier it is to do things and to operate day to day. The control over the environment and our house gives me a lot of choices to, reduce the amount of chaos that it brings into our life and the environment. Like I can control, how it looks, how it sounds, how it smells. That's great. Also, the smaller goals that I'm making, that just gives me more rewards to look forward to in my mind, anyways, and less guilt when I do or don't meet those goals. So it gives me more follow through, more completion, more consistency. And I think brains really like that, when you're when you're burnt out, you aren't focusing on the end goal. You're just caught up in the drudgery of day to day life and of the little actions that make up the goal, right? So because you're not getting those done, you're struggling in the overall process. So you need more follow through, more completion, more consistency. So all in all, I just want you guys to know that if you're in a similar season, it's okay to narrow your focus. You don't have to do everything all at once, and you can't do everything all at once. If you're feeling behind or overwhelmed, this is your reminder that you're allowed to do less. You're not failing, you're stabilizing. It's true, like you're not failing, you're just trying to create a sense of calm and the loci of control or whatever that therapy word is. I'm sorry for using therapy speak, but stability is really important for in the end for growth. And if this resonates with you, I'd love to know, what are you prioritizing right now? Please share in the comments, even if it's just one small thing. I really want to build a community here on YouTube and just try to be more consistent with my videos in the future. So I will be posting a new video every Friday. Thank you so much for watching. And if you stuck around to the end, thank you so much. I love you. Bye.